There's a whole category of stuff on Amazon right now, with no ads behind it, no influencer pushing it, no big brand name stamped on the box, and it keeps selling out anyway. You'll pull up a listing, see only 4 left, tell yourself you'll think about it, come back that evening, and it just reads currently unavailable, no restock date. So, the question that pulled me into making this video is a simple one. What does the average person suddenly understand about protecting their home that has these specific weapons vanishing off the shelf faster than sellers can restock them? I dug into it for a few days, and a couple of the answers caught me off guard, including one item most people already own, except they own the wrong version of it. Stick with me to the end because the weapon's actually worth your money and the ones that are pure marketing are not the same list. And I'm going to tell you exactly which is which. Kicking off our countdown at number 7 is a tool that turns the water into your hunting ground, the spear gun. A serious blue water spear gun, a Rob Allen railgun, a ref, or a vacuum-sealed pneumatic model from Salvimar is built to drive a solid stainless steel shaft through large fish in open water. These aren't pool toys. Divers running full-size 120 to 130 centimeter guns often use breakaway line systems because powerful fish can exert tremendous force once hooked. Accidents involving spear guns can be extremely serious, which is why experienced divers treat them with respect. Here's the honest part, the part spec sheet crowds hate. Manufacturers generally don't publish muzzle energy figures for spear guns because performance varies significantly based on band tension, shaft weight, barrel length, and configuration. What we can verify are the physical specs. Shafts typically measure around 6.5 to 8 millimeters in diameter and are made from solid stainless steel. Effective accuracy is usually around 2 to 5 meters, while larger blue water setups may reach 7 to 8 meters before accuracy begins to drop off noticeably. So, why is it on this list? Because at close range, a spear gun is exactly what it sounds like. A spear propelled with considerable force. It's one of the oldest and most effective hunting concepts ever created. And why does it land at number 7? Because outside the water, it's bulky, slow to reload, and highly specialized. As a practical everyday defensive tool, it ranks near the bottom. Number 6 is one of the oldest hunting weapons ever created, the traditional bow. Recurve or longbow. No wheels, no cables, and no let-off. When you draw a 50-pound traditional bow, you're holding the full weight at full draw. That's both its greatest strength and its greatest challenge. Let's be precise about what it does, because this is where people either overhype or undersell it. A well-built traditional hunting bow in the 40 to 60-pound range, paired with the right arrow and broadhead, is fully capable of taking big game at ethical hunting distances. In fact, many states set minimum draw weight requirements for bow hunting that fall around the 40-pound mark, giving you a good idea of where effective hunting performance begins. The catch isn't the bow, it's the shooter. There's no mechanical advantage to help hold at full draw, no advanced aiming system to rely on, and very little room for inconsistency. Success comes down to technique, practice, and repetition. That's exactly why it ranks here. Incredibly effective in skilled hands, but far less forgiving than many modern alternatives. Yet, despite its simplicity, the traditional bow remains one of the most respected hunting tools ever created. Lightweight, quiet, and remarkably effective, it's a design that has endured for thousands of years and earned every bit of that reputation. Number 5 jumps from the oldest tech to some of the newest, the modern compound bow, and I'm benchmarking it with the 2024 Matthews Lift 33, a current flagship with numbers you can go check yourself. Matthews rates the Lift 33 at up to 343 feet per second on the IBO scale, with draw weights from 55 to 80 pounds and 80 or 85% let-off. That let-off is the magic. At full draw, you're only holding a fraction of the peak weight, so you can settle a pin and aim steady instead of shaking. But here's the gap. The ad copy never mentions. That 343 figure is a lab spec shot with a light arrow and a long draw length. load a real hunting arrow, say 450 to 500 grains, put it over a chronograph, and shooters are landing more in the high 200s and 70s to low 200s and 90s. That's not me knocking the bow. That's just the honest difference between the box and the backyard. And it's still more than enough. A hunting weight arrow out of a 70-pound compound sits in the neighborhood of 80 to 90 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, roughly double the deer threshold I mentioned a minute ago, which is exactly why compounds cleanly take elk and bigger. Between the let-off, the sights, and a mechanical release, a compound is far easier to shoot accurately than a trad bow, and far faster to get genuinely deadly with. Number 4 is a weapon most people have never even heard of, and it's its own category. Not a bow, not a crossbow, not a gun. It's the air bow, and the one that put it on the map is the Benjamin Pioneer. Here's the concept. Instead of storing energy in limbs, it drives a full-length arrow with a burst of compressed air. Benjamin rates it at up to 168 foot-pounds, launching a 375-grain arrow at 450 feet per second off a 3,000 psi charge, and its regulator gives you 8 consistent shots. In the time it'd take you to fire 3 from a crossbow. Independent testing backs the numbers up honestly. On a Labrador radar setup, one measured about 446 feet per second and 165 foot-pounds at the muzzle, and it was still carrying 136 foot-pounds all the way out at 40 yards. Is it lethal? Professional hunter Jim Shockey famously took a 2,000-pound bison with one, and it's been used on hogs, predators, and deer, with a whole map of states that have made it legal for various game. What makes it deadly and accessible is the operation. A 2-finger cocking lever that takes about 2 pounds of effort, and a front pull design that drives the arrow from the tip instead of shoving it from the rear, which kills the wobble you fight on a crossbow. Now the honest catches. At around 165 foot-pounds, it's below the crossbow you're about to see. It runs proprietary full-length arrows, and it needs a PCP air source to fill, and one you won't hear elsewhere. Benjamin has cycled this thing in and out of production, so availability comes and goes. If the Pioneers sold out, Umarex's Air Saber is the other main airbow worth a look. But as a distinct, genuinely deadly platform that nobody talks about, it's the sleeper on this list. Number 3 takes everything difficult about a traditional bow, the draw weight, the hold, and the years of practice, and hands most of that work to a machine, the crossbow. And the Raven R500 is one of the models that redefined what modern crossbows are capable of. The R500 launches a 400-grain bolt at a blistering 500 feet per second, generating 222 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, or roughly 300 joules. Raven rates it for effective shooting out to 100 yards. And here's what earns my respect. Independent chronograph testing has recorded speeds of 496 to 498 feet per second, putting real-world performance almost exactly in line with the advertised numbers. That's something you don't see every day. What makes it so impressive is the complete package. Testers have reported an exceptionally light trigger and accuracy good enough to stack bolts into nearly the same point of impact. With more than 200 foot-pounds of energy behind a broadhead, the R500 offers serious big-game hunting capability at distances that would challenge most traditional archery setups. It also features silent cocking, safe decocking, and an integrated anti-dry fire system. Of course, there are trade-offs. It's still a single-shot platform, and recocking takes time, making rapid follow-up shots difficult. It weighs around 8.5 pounds, which is substantial for its size. There's also one important limitation. The R500 is designed around Raven's proprietary arrows, and using alternatives can void the warranty, meaning you're largely committed to Raven's ecosystem. The top 2 are where this list gets genuinely absurd, and here's a fact worth thinking about. The 2 most powerful entries on this countdown both run on compressed air. Not string, not gunpowder. Air. Number 2 is the .50 caliber Umarex hammer, and calling it an air rifle barely does it justice. Built in Fort Smith, Arkansas, the hammer is a big-bore pre-charged pneumatic rifle that launches a 550-grain lead slug. Umarex rates it at up to 705 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, pushing that projectile to roughly 760 feet per second. Independent testing has produced lower numbers with lighter projectiles, but even those results exceeded 560 foot-pounds of energy. That's comparable to, or greater than, many common handgun loads, all from a rifle powered entirely by compressed air. And this isn't just a number on a spec sheet. The hammer has been used to take feral hogs, bobcats, axis deer, fallow deer, and even black bears. It feeds from a 2-shot magazine and uses a smooth, straight-pull bolt system. A full 4,500 psi fill provides 3 full-power shots, with a 4th delivering slightly reduced performance. A full 4,500 pounds per square inch fill provides 3 full-power shots, with a 4th delivering slightly reduced performance. Of course, there are trade-offs. Filling the rifle requires a 4,500 psi air source, whether that's a high-pressure hand pump, dedicated compressor, or air tank. Filling the rifle requires a 4,500 psi air source, whether that's a high-pressure hand pump, dedicated compressor, or air tank. It's not something you recharge with a simple cartridge. The rifle also incorporates multiple safety systems, and owners should take the time to understand its operation before using it. So, why is this .50 caliber monster only number 2? Because somehow, there's still one air-powered weapon ahead of it. And if you think 700 foot-pounds sounds impressive, wait until you see what happens when compressed air gets pushed to an entirely different level. Number 1 is the rifle that makes everything else on this list look ordinary. The Air Force Texan in .457 isn't just another big-bore air rifle. By the company's own claims and published performance figures, it's one of the most powerful production air rifles ever built. Made in Fort Worth, Texas, the Texan takes the big-bore air gun concept and pushes it to another level. The .457 version launches heavy lead slugs at speeds exceeding 1,000 feet per second and delivers well over 500 foot-pounds of energy in standard form. But what separates it from most competitors is that the power isn't just impressive, it's usable. During testing, shooters have recorded tight groups at 60 yards, while still generating energy levels that place the rifle firmly in serious hunting territory. Its biggest advantage is adaptability. An adjustable valve system and interchangeable power settings allow shooters to trade velocity for shot count, turning the same rifle from a precision hunting tool into an absolute powerhouse. It operates with a side lever action, feeds from a large onboard air reservoir, and has been used successfully on deer, hogs, and other large game where legal. Of course, this isn't a perfect do-everything rifle. It's a single-shot platform, it requires a high-pressure air source, and the standard model is notably loud. It also ships without open sights, meaning most owners will want to budget for quality optics. Like other big-bore air rifles, regulations vary by state and locality, so it's important to understand the rules where you live. But when this list comes down to one question, which non-powder-powered weapon delivers the most verified power, the Air Force Texan stands alone. So, there's the full countdown. 7 genuinely lethal weapons, not a firearm among them, ranked by real energy, with every number traced back to a manufacturer spec or an independent chronograph and the marketing fluff called out along the way. Here's the honest takeaway, because I promised you straight talk. If you clicked this thinking home defense, most of this list is the wrong tool for that job. A spear gun, a trad bow, a compound, the air bow, even that incredible crossbow. Those are hunting and sport instruments that happen to be deadly, not something you want to fumble with at 2 in the morning. The 2 big-bore air guns are a different beast entirely, but even their single-shot or 2-shot specialists that need a scuba tank to feed, not a nightstand gun. Deadly and practical for defense are two very different questions, and anybody who blurs them on purpose is selling you something. I want to know where you land. Did I rank these right? Is there a non-firearm weapon you think outguns the Texan? Because I went looking, and the only things that beat it are the firearms we left out on purpose. Put it in the comments and tell me why. And if this was useful, subscribe. I dig into this stuff with actual numbers so you don't have to sort the hype from the facts yourself. I'll catch you in the next one.